Hello everyone and welcome to another one of my tournament games. The game number 2 versus Attack Power in week number 3. So far all my matches in this tournament had been ties. Let's see if this game number 2 will be a victory for me or if Attack Power will get me my third tie in the third week. The bans and picks were interesting. The 4 maps we got were both the Finnish, Illumansi and Talia, Cell and Haroshaya. Haroshaya making the number 5 on the most hated maps by Attack Power. He banned Cell though. I at first thought we would play Cell because I for sure banned both the Finnish because they made my top 5 worst maps. But he banned Cell, so I didn't want to play the Finnish maps, so we played Haroshaya in the end, which I'm fine with because it's one of my favorite maps. Attack Power obviously picked Axis as he this time had to pick, and he favors Axis by quite a margin. I got allies. And the bans on his end were pretty standard. Only interesting one is 6 airborne. But with the off-map they got on this map, it kind of makes sense. 97, 44 for off-map and tanks. 8th Indian because good artillery and an off-map. 2nd Indian head because amazing infantry. And Task Force 45 because just so powerful. On my end, Lovash because of off-map and Hungarian infantry. 26 Panzer because they have good long ranges and he played them before. 5th Gebirgsjäger because it's the Gebirgsjägers. Really, really good infantry. 28 Jäger because we saw last game what they're capable of. 17th SS doesn't have the off-map anymore, but I still feel like they're really strong, and the Naval Rifles also are annoying in this town and center, and Tetra is just so darn cost efficient. So I banned them as well. And the Attack Power picked 5th Cavalry Morsata, a division that struggles a bit with medium tanks, so I picked a division that I thought has a lot of good medium tanks to use against it, and a good infantry tab, and good air tab as well to use in the center. First Piechotti and Maverick, and he picked balanced because he wanted it to be a defensive game for his side. Brought in the IAR with 12 50kg bombs from the get-go to try to bomb the road. 37mm came out though, as I expected some annoyance like this, and I forced the IAR back. 37mm 1-star veterancy, trying to get the kill. IAR took quite some damage. PTRS got 1 kill in the north. Didn't get a second one, but 1 kill already fine enough. IAR got out. Took a bit of damage though, so it would take a while to come back. 12-12 so far. My M42 down here, not capable of dealing with the Solid Thorn. Was a bit annoying. Vegeta attacking me here as well. PTRS trying to come in, trying to sneak through. A lot of CQC infantry. On the other side, Pioneer Kalari with Berettas and TNT and ZBs. Pretty strong Pioneers. Carabina also better rifle. Not the top end, but still pretty powerful. Lost my M42 here. Tried to deal with the anti-car. Meanwhile, north, only a couple of Pioneers and the Tourney Cherry versus a couple of T-34s. Strelki LKM, a really good unit for the Polish. Has DPs and SVTs for 25 points. So really good mid-range firepower. At 500 meters, these are some pretty powerful squads for 25 points. Strelki LKM getting hit here. He has the Chronic Cherries in A phase though. So Sniper Infantry coming in A phase made it a bit annoying for my Strelkis. IR coming in the north. IL-2 trying to hunt it down and then maybe use its bombing run. IR would get through. I saw where it was going though, so I tried to dodge it. Wasn't good enough though. IR now trying to run away. IL-2 on its tail. We'll try to get the shot down there. Meanwhile, Pioneers coming in down here against Dejan Cholgovis. A couple of flamethrowers. My leader too far forward, as always. My leader micro really not that good. I have to work on that. IR will get out. R2's here though. And that's the only tanks you get in A phase. Well, you could use one kind of Stux in A phase as well, I think. But you don't get many Stux. And R2's is the tanks he got in A phase. That's for sure. trying to deal with my T-34s, and they struggle a bit. IL-2, maybe not used correctly here with its 50 kilogram bombs against tanks. Don't do much. Should have rather bombed a building or something, but expected the enemy to be in. But wanted to use the IL-2 and then get out. T-34s dealing with R2s. R2s can't do much against the T-34, as even with side shots against the 50 side armor, the 40 penetration is not that great. So didn't worry too much about them. Got now to shoot at the R2. My cherries here engaging my infantry though. IL-2 coming around for a bit of strafing. But I should have just gotten it out, reloaded, come back again. Meanwhile, Strelkies will deal with the anti-car down here, so that doesn't annoy my real line like the PTRS did in the first game. Pioneer Kalari coming forward together with the Tourney cherries, but running into the BA-10 and the T-34, so getting hit quite hard here. BA-10's on a good way killing that. Strelkies did retreat though, away from the Tourney cherry. Tourney cherry now under fire by the vehicles as well. So units here on the way down. Tourney cherry nearly dead. Pioneer Kalari goes down. 12-12 for now though. I'm the Maverick player, so I have to be the aggressor in this game. At least till we get into the later parts of the game. And I obviously need to get a good advantage if I don't get it over the finish line, but goal is to get it over the finish line before the 50-minute mark hits. 82mm mortar in the rear. 25mm AA coming in now. Pretty good AA. The Hotchkiss truck, not so much. I would just not bring that anymore. Currently Hotchkiss trucks don't do any damage. Everything below 20mm is just pretty pointless at the moment. Rogioris here getting hit quite hard. Micro came a split second too late by attack power. Maybe expected me to hit the Tourney cherries because these moved out of the building first. I think that's what he did expect. I hit the Rogioris instead, so I killed 4 there. IL-2 not trying to come in for the Tourney cherries over here. Micro over here also a slight bit too late, so 5 of them go down. Hotchkiss under fire by the T-34, gets out of the way though. Only 1 man falling. Yak 3 trying to hunt down the BF-109, but BF-109 is too fast, so they will retreat. AA on my end also helping out. 2-star veterancy now as there is a leader around. T-34's trying to get some hits in. Trying to kill off the Hotchkiss. Hotchkiss goes down to 1 hit point. The 1 hit point Hotchkiss is still just as capable in dealing damage to planes as a 4 hit point one. It's a bit annoying that I didn't get the kill there. Strelky LKMs dealing with the Rogioris over here. Pushing in a bit. 14-10 for me. 59 obviously the goal. Pioneer Kalari getting pushed back here a bit. Strelky is holding the line. More T-34s coming in as there's not that much that currently can deal with them. And I wanted to use them a bit more aggressively. Up in the north, M42 moved forward. Strelky LKM versus Rogioris and Tourney cherries. Tourney cherries being real annoying. IAR coming in to hit the BA-10. So BA-10 tried to disengage. Got killed by the bombing run though. And I tried to kill the IAR this time. But IL-2's not having an easy time there. T-34 against the R2. Another T-34 versus an AC. The AC, the M42 gets the win. R2 goes down though. IL-2 should be used for a bombing run here. M42 of my opponent fires against the M42 and the T-34 of me. Yellow's down. T-34 with 90 frontal armor has good chances of not getting killed by that. IL-2 with heavy bombs now coming in. 250 kilogram bombs. T-34 has to be careful here. Gets hit by the anti-car. Doesn't want to run into the Rogioris. Bombing run in the north, pretty effective. Enemy relatively low on stuff there. IL-2 has to be careful with the BF-109 behind it. And the micro on my end here, on the IL-2, not that great. Losing a heavy bomb IL-2. Not where I wanted. Hurts quite a bit more than losing the 50 point L once. BF-109 gets out. Good micro of attack power there. Killing my bomber. These bombers are really important. IL-2 plus T-34 is really the way to go. Meanwhile, the Pioneer Artillery cleaned me out down here. As my tangential govies were relative... Oh no. Was it? The guys of the Molotovs were pretty low on hit points and also I think out of Molotovs. Meanwhile, M42 now versus 1943 T-34, and this fight is not as good for T-34 on this range. Like the one with 90 frontal armor on this range usually beat the M42s. This one not so much, so I should have disengaged here. Might still win it, but it's a fight of luck. The T-34E is really the way better tank in this division, as it only costs you 5 points more. Oh no, it actually costs the same, right? Or only difference, like only things that had less of is a bit less HE shells, but going through 33 AP and 44 HE shells takes you quite a while anyways, and it is a bit slower, but a bit slower for the extra 15 frontal armor is something you trade every day of the week, I would say. T-34 is also pushing down the north against Berettas. Infantry of attack power coming in just in time though. And Beretta might get out of there. That's a T-34. Gets the finishing blow though. Another Beretta coming in, another Hotchkiss coming in. 12-12 at the moment, obviously not great for me. As we are about to hit B-phase, where my Maverick income should give me the advantage. Mortar coming in from the rear. I don't have much more artillery than that. No heavy artillery in this stack. Air and mortars is the way to go. Mortars will be also the way to try to deal with the Hotchkisses maybe. IL-2 coming in on the north for another big bombing run. There is an AAPs now. Ju-87D3 coming in from the other side. IL-2 now tries to get for the direct hit, but Hotchkisses are pretty good at forcing you back. And the BF-109s being called in at the right time again. And I lose my second heavy bomb IL-2. Really, really bad micro there. Get the Ju-87D3 at least, but it also got its bombing run through. And the Hotchkiss really good. Good call in time on the E7s. E7 here though, at least gets killed off by my 237mm, but losing my heavy bomb IL-2s is big blow. I only have one of those left now, as it's a cut of 3 in A phase that you get. Bulky LCMs, Pioneer Calaris, big fight here. T-34s all died, so my push power here is limited now. In the middle, I'm down to 2 T-34s as well, but still not that much that can deal with them efficiently. Another mortar coming in for north. And my one heavy artillery I got is Katyushas. And they will be trying to deal with the Hotchkisses to allow the IL-2 alley to go through the center. Strelky LKMs coming in as well. Down on the south, Pioneer Cavalry are a bit too strong. I don't have as much CQC infantry. I have a lot of good mid-range infantry, and I know he uses chronic cherries in A phase, so if I get rid of them, my CQC infantry might even be better in the long run with the Strelky LCMs. Mortars now trying to deal with some Hotchkiss fire. Katyusha coming in. Strelky LKM coming in as well. Chronic cherry dealing with the Strelky. 13-11 for me, so at least taking the enemy down a bit further. But obviously far away from winning here. L2M under heavy fire. Hotchkisses doing a good job. Mortar fire coming on good time though. Chronic cherries under fire. Another Bofors 40mm being called in. Yak 1B just for covering. And also maybe tanking a bit of the damage. But flies a bit deep. Actually goes pretty low. As Yak 1B's not the healthiest plane out there. Meanwhile, Strelky over here against 2 Chronic Cherries, against 3 Chronic Cherries. Chronic Cherry over here engaged by T-34. Mortars continued trying to hit in the rear. Well, it's down in the south. A couple of Superzi rocks coming in. Try to deal with the Pioneer Calari. as Tech Power is actually the one going up to 13-11 right now. Which obviously is not what I want to be at 13 minutes. Like, I at least want to be at the 13-11 at this stage, so that it is a bit easier to win in the long run. Mortar gets the M42. Gets the fort, but sadly just after the Rogioris got forced to unload. Get a kill onto a fort in the north though, with units still inside. Katyusha is ready. Katyusha will now fire into the direction of the Hotchkisses. But down on the south, Baniri Kalari under heavy fire by my Saperji rocks. And IL-2's also trying to come in for bombing run. There's a 37mm here as well. And 2 IL-2s and a Yak-3. Kinda also bait out the BF-109Es. Yak-3 will now come around as well. IL-2s can take a head on here. This IL-2 will try to go for the chase. The Yak-3 here, hunting down the BF-109. Not quite capable to get on its tail just yet though. But gets killed off by the 37mm. Second BF-109E in a heavy fight. Another BF-109 comes in. Yak-3 on the chase. As the 37mm also still firing. Trying to get the kill. Trying to get the stun. Just doesn't get the stun quite yet. But my L2 also survives just so. And there's another BF-109 though. That still can get behind my L2. L2 falling back. Gets shut down. Yak-3 trying to chase down together with the 37mm, which will get a bit more damage on it. And the Yak-3 gets behind it. Really tries to get there, but good micro by attack power. Now calling back the plane. Yak-3 taking the long curve. Tries to chase it down. But in the end, it's a 1-1 trade. 1 BF-109 for 1 IL-2, but I at least got rid of the enemy's Rojita there, which is an important kill. Meanwhile, Katyusha in the middle got rid of one of the 25mm. Another Katyusha plus 2 supply trucks coming in to allow for more shots like that. Maybe though I should have used even more T-34s. Like, I bring in 3 more T-34s as well to really allow for a big push. But maybe this should have been more infantry and more T-34s. Because, yes, now 2 Stooks have arrived, but I feel like a lot of T-34s plus infantry could have just run this over. As I see this now. Meanwhile, Pioneer Assault coming in, double flamethrowers to deal with my Saperji rocks, my single flamethrower units. 13-11 ongoing for me now, as the Ruzhnia, the Maxim, got back in here to capture this. So light tick for me. 82mm mortar will try to hit the units in the north. Maybe allow for a push here. But without T-34s pushing there won't be easy. Katyusha's coming in. More T-34s and Strelky LKM coming in as well. Another Vegeta for a good position here. Panzer Shrek and AB Horse as well. So light force engagements won't be easy. Amata goes down. T-34 trying its chances against infantry again. Trying to beat up some chronic cherries. Sadly, at the moment, the MGs of the T-34 is not dealing as much damage as they should do. Meanwhile, though, Katyusha, with a good shot, gets the Hotchkiss. Gets the Bofors. Both AA down, together with the mortar. So IL-2 can come in, unopposed. At least by ground units. BF-109 though is out. So the IL-2 has to be a bit careful about that. 37mm comes in though. And the IL-2 might be able to get behind us, and it does. So IL-2 from becoming the hunted to becoming the hunter. Classic IL-2 movement. Especially the ones with 50kg bombs are somewhat capable of that, as they are more maneuverable than the ones with 250kg bombs. So yeah, allowed for that. Saperji rocks, trying to deal with the Pioneer Killari. They still got their TNT off though, which was a bit unfortunate. Got dealt with right after. These ones also got their TNT off, which was really unfortunate. And really annoying. Got me to a 14-10 for a second though. Yak 3 also shooting down one of the light planes of my opponent. So really dealing well with the fighters lately. And also the light bombers. As a Stalky LKM got in here. 14-10 has been achieved. T-34 is now trying to win in the center. Get a kill on the Stug. As they just overwhelmed it. Meanwhile, here an M42 gets the gun jammed on my T-34E. Pretty annoying. Now my T-34 is though beating up the M42. Should be able to kill it eventually, but another Stug comes around. And the M42 survives for now. More AA comes in the center. Stalky LKM gets pushed back. 13-11 still only. And then the Regida here is in a good spot. The other T-34s that I called in for going down low will struggle a bit. Yak 3 though, coming in, pinning down the Regida at least. But good fallback there by attack power, so that the T-34 can't deal too much more damage to it. More tangential Govies and Saperji rocks for hitting the forest. Up in the north, I'm more on a defensive posture now. Because I knew without T-34s I couldn't push. Katyushas getting ready for another push. M42 went down. Yak 1B has to be careful here, as it's falling back. Sis 3 at least gets the AB Horch, a bit lucky there in the 1v1. Pioneer Assault, really dangerous here. Visionaire Stormover have to disengage. T-34 maybe should have moved as well. I think I missed that I didn't kill the Regida. Pioneer Assault here, luckily run a bit too deep into me. My T-34s can deal a bit of damage to them. Every damage on dealt to those double flamers is good damage. Not sure why these guys fall back into the other direction though, but they somehow get the surrender, but still falling back. So, good ending there for me. Even though I'm not quite sure why they did that. Bofors here go down to half-life. Now get hit by the T-34s. So AA in the center is crumbling as we are hitting the 20-minute mark. Get the Bofors killed. So only one Hotchkiss in the center. That's not enough to stop an IL-2 train. I get another 37mm. Not sure if I really needed that. I think the 37mm, the single one, already did a lot of work before. Maybe, as I said, over-investing into Katyushas and 37mm in the center instead of just pure pushing power. Another M42 here gets hit up by my T-34s. And on this range, the T-34E usually doesn't get penetrated, but bailout crit there. Bit unfortunate. Saperji rocks trying to come around. Crony Cherries still around though. Still 4 Crony Cherries here. 5 Crony Cherries here still in the center. My infantry mounts here not that big. IL-2 M coming in for the Regida. With only one Hotchkiss, they won't be stopped. Gets the Regida killed. J87 D3 run though. Kills one of my T-34s in the south. The other one runs away from an M42. But the IL-2 will try to get the kill on that. M42 not running away, so it will go down. ABU Jaws though, annoying here. 12-12 still. Both of my Saperji rocks here get beaten by Rojori and the Crony Cherry on short range. Really unfortunate. That's a lot of points and a lot of infantry for the center down the drain. We have 109 here. Getting really close to my IL-2. But luckily don't kill it. 2-star veteran C 37mm for the rescue. BF 109 gets a bit quite heavily damaged as well. But will make it out. At least I think it did. Yes, it did. Meanwhile, T-34 over here gets attacked by the R2. And gets killed off by the R2. R2 this time with the side shot. M42 over here gets killed off. But still 2 Stugs remaining. Katyushas though reloaded. And I still have 5 T-34s for push in the center. 13-11 going on as I overrun this position with my infantry. And the Katyushas help out with some long-range firepower. 13-11. But I need more. Obviously 13-11 with attack power still nearly on full life. I need to destroy attack power. And to have a chance of winning here, I really need to Sky Bully and Artillery Bully him to keep the cost efficiency up now that he nearly has double my income. I'll at least dodged the Ju-87 pretty well. A couple of units got pinned down, but I don't think I lost a single man to that bombing run. I was pretty proud of that dodge. IL-2M now trying to come into the center. Another AA piece has arrived on the battlefield though. A C-phase card of the 75mm Vickers. They are not amazing, but they are long range. And they have good hit points. So they can keep IL-2s at bay. We overwhelm one Assault Pioneer here. 1311 still ticking. Katyusha's ready to fire. T-34's ready to push. And another option of winning the game was beating all the Stooks and then just not having any AT opposition. Good movement on the Hotchkiss this time. Means I'm not fully killing it. Deal more damage to it, but not killing it. More infantry is needed in the center. Su-76 for more armor support. Stalky LKM to be the infantry in front of them. But running pretty low on points now. 1311 still going on. Still have more Air Force. IL-2, for example. IL-2 coming in for the Stook. Yak 1 and 3 to help out. Another Regida in the bushes. Yeah, kind of annoying. Regida's obviously being quite powerful, and attack power didn't spam them out. Like, always found a good spot to bring them into. And the Vickers from the center being pretty annoying here. Stressing out my IL-2, meaning that the Stook doesn't get hit hard enough by the cluster, so it will survive. Vickers really having some solid range. Now getting hit by the mortars though. Katyushas also will try to hit it. Yak 3s not getting bothered too much by the Vickers. Vickers has a lot of HE shells. I wasn't sure how many HE shells they have, but 50 is quite a lot, as they only have a rate of fire of like 10 or so. So letting them run out of HE shells against my fighters was one of my ideas, but that's obviously not super realistic. Another Su-76 for the north, as I feared there would come a push eventually there. 1311 for now keeps the take on attack power, and I was getting ready for a longer game. For maybe having to be the defensive player and leveraging my advantage, but obviously my advantage currently not that big, so every tick counts in a scenario where there's a 50-minute time limit. Stalky LKM hitting here. T-34 versus Rogioris. And Yak-1B's in the center. Hotchkiss truck. Vickers being around. Yak-1B's maybe flying a bit deep, as my Katyushas try to hit around here. Hotchkiss gets the kill. Gets killed. Vickers gets the... not the Hotchkiss. As another Vickers comes around. IL-2 coming now in again. Doesn't hit the Regida hard enough. Vickers shooting quite a lot of shots at me. 37mm versus BF-109. But the IL-2 already goes down to the Vickers, as they have 12 rounds per minute, okay. But at some point they also get too accurate, so you can't just stand in there. Hard push in the south. My Katyushas trying to fire onto this position here. Should have kept it on there and then maybe pushed, but I obviously didn't know how much stuff there actually was around there. Trying to hit the AA instead. Maybe a mistake. Regida still alive is annoying. 1311 still going on for now though. Saperji rocks. Trying to hold the point here. Katyusha coming in again. With a lucky shot might be able to get the Hotchkiss. But good retreat. Fast retreat. Stoke goes down though. SUs, 76s hitting the Chronic Cherries. So a lot of infantry plus tanks now assembled again in the center. This one was the one that had a crit. Meanwhile though in the south, I'm getting pushed out again. Not taking down my opponent anymore, and it's still 23 minutes to go. And my advantage is not that huge, so I need more advantage at least. Winning before the time limit with my income became more and more unlikely. So I tried to go deep, But obviously, 23 minutes is a hell of a long time for balanced with an income advantage to try to push you back. So I felt a bit desperate at this point because I realized, damn, my killing push not really working out. Regida here, murdering a lot of my T-34s. My T-34 fleet not as big as I hoped. I realized I got rid of quite a couple of Stooks, but there were still some around. M42 versus Regida. Not the most amazing fight, but it deals damage. Still has 12 shells left. But Regida will retaliate now. And it deals more damage. Luckily a bit stressed out, so it isn't too accurate. But M42 gets forced to move. And one hit here, dealing 3 damage, 2 damage, next one dealing 1 damage. Meanwhile my hits not quite as much. Though got the hit out there at least. Got it down to 3 hit points, but now Pioneer Assault pushed me out of here again. So my 1311 is gone again. 3 at Coney. My recon infantry coming in. T-34 is trying to deal with the Rogioris. Currently no stock in the center. Was quite helpful to allow some damage. I saw the Panzerschreck. Got one of my SUs, I think. But I got to kill it on it eventually. Rogioris over here getting hit. Orginias coming in. Another Studebaker to resupply the Katyushas. But I didn't have any infantry down here right now. My 37mm, the only units still alive down here, as the M42 had been falling. So, enemy counterattack down here. 12-12. I had like 10 minutes on a single tick advantage, and the enemy had still 20 minutes to get me. With a double tick, obviously, would gone even faster. So, I didn't feel too well. As attack power really does play a good game here. Rogioris pushing deeper, 37mm. Firing a bit, but would need to disengage here to not get hit by the Rogioris. Stoke coming in as well. Instead they moved forward. And are close to getting overrun here. Now Strelky LKMs coming in to deal with the Rogioris. They are capable of doing that. But the 37mm have to run first. This 37mm now engaging infantry. Not what you want to do with them. Is now trying to run away. The other one obviously needs to run as well. Micro there, a bit lackluster. Comes in eventually. Clicking too wildly. IL-2's coming around to try to save them. Both of them under heavy fire. Rogioris getting stunned down. Both of my 37mm surviving for now, but the Regida opening fire on one of them will be able to get the kill. At least I saved one though. We have 109s coming around to deal with my IL-2s. 37mm will try to help out against them. IL-2s over here. Getting behind. We have 109. One of my IL-2s goes down though. And my IL-2s over here. Have to be careful. Rickers in the center still having 23 shots, so yeah, as I said, making the enemy run out of ammo not that likely. L2 behind the enemy line over here in a bit of a stressful situation as well. Trying to get out of here, but BF-109 still around. He had quite a couple of fighters. 37mm not enough to stress it out. Lost another IL-2, so my heavy air push late game was starting to fall out of the window as well. Medium tank option still maybe alive, but there is a Regida now in the center. Vickers as well. So just pushing over that with medium tanks won't be as easy either. ABU Joy is around, but T-34E really helping out against those. Vickers getting hit now by the Katyusha. So the Katyusha doing some good work there, but not a lot of damage. Could have maybe followed that up with a push now, but I wasn't too confident in that. T-34 over here, trying to deal with the Grand Cherries and the Rogioris. Grand Cherries really dying super slowly. And it was kind of annoying that I didn't get more of them killed early on. as he had the A phase card, I felt like I should have been really gotten rid of all of them by this stage. But somehow there were still too many of them around. 5 of them still in the center. 82mm mortar now, trying to hit around here. Katyusha is reloading. As all of these units spread out further. Another Chronic Cherry in the rear. Strelky LKM hitting the Ruggieri. Stuk coming around. Obviously dangerous opponent, but IL-2 with clusters coming in. Another IL-2 with 250 kilogram bombs. The B-phase cut of those. J87D3 not getting through the 37mm. And IL-2 gets the cluster off, gets the kill this time. Bombing run, doesn't hit anything. IL-2 needs to get the hell out of there. But these ones, as I said, not as maneuverable. You gotta be careful with them. IL-2 over here will fly through the center. As I said, I wanted to let them shoot as many shots on me as possible, so without dying, so that I didn't get hit by their that they ran out of ammo, so that I maybe can come in later again in the center. This is the last remaining AA in the center, but this time my Katyusha whiffs completely. T-34 coming in, 15 minutes still on the clock. It's a 12-12 for now. T-34 in the north goes down to a Panzerschreck, second one disengaging. Infantry combat in the north, but light grenadiers in the forest, but the rest all still back. 12-12 going on. Strelky LKM coming in. 37mm over here. Gets a bit caught out now. Trying to deal with the Roggieris before they get the kill. Able to do so, luckily, to pin them down. Or that happens. Strelky LKM easily beating the Roggieris in the mid-ranges. More Strelky LKM moving forward. Suppression rocks for the forest. 12-12 still holding. More Strelky LKM coming in for center. 15 minutes to go. I was pretty stressed out. We also played that late at night. I had to catch a train ride in the next morning, so that's why I also played Maverick, because I thought, okay, let's just make it a quick game. Well, turns out it wasn't. And Pioneer Kalari go down, and I felt the pressure mounting, and I really wanted to get rid of the AA pieces, but Katyusha's not quite finding the kill they needed. Over here, Mortar trying to help out, Flamethrower hitting the Ruggieri, but not getting the kill there. Ruggieri coming back, will try to find the kill on the Flamethrower squadron. Mortar hitting around the Panzerschreck and the Ruggieris. Curry still alive. Panzerschreck also not falling. Ju-88 bomber trying to come in the center, but 2 Severtons C-37mm at least able to stop that. Meanwhile, another Ju-87 88 bomber in the south gets killed off by the Yak-3. But Superior Rocks not falling back. But more and more Ruggieris coming in. In fact, the amount of stuff my opponent got at me now was quite insane. Obviously, with 155 points, you can afford a lot of infantry per minute, like 5 to 6 infantry squadrons per minute coming my way that I had to deal with, and with losing my heavy bomb IL-2s, that wasn't as easy. Yak-3 here, under fire by the Vickers. Vickers down to 11 HE shells at least. The other one still at 21. Katyusha here getting reloaded by my last supply truck, as I had only a B face card. So all 4 supply trucks here were the ones I got. Roggieris coming around, the Light Grenadiers coming around. Luzhnya Sturmove with PPSHs were supposed to stop them. Kalarizi with sniper rifles coming in from the rear. Light Grenadiers in a fight losing out for now. 100-meter range engagement was good for me here. Light Grenadiers getting hit pretty hard, but good micro there at least. Could not fully lose them by attack power. Meanwhile, 13-11 now for attack power. I'm on the timer. T-34 dodged another J-87 run. But come forward again to maybe help out, as there's no tanks. Most of the Stokes have been gunning down. One Stoke still in the rear here though. Could maybe be brought forward. Whilst another bomber round coming in here. And the 132mm rocket could help out here once more. Or maybe up in the north. Mortar continuously firing up there. IL-2 gets a good bombing run out. As Vickers not able to stop it in time. Vickers now down to 66 points. But my opponent brings in big gun artillery. Vickers down to 5 shells. T-34 dealing with the Ruggieri's, but more Ruggieri's getting closer as well. Tourney trying to push in. Ruggieri's over here getting slowly but surely killed off. Infantry in the north coming in big numbers. 12-12 it is. And now the secret. Attack power in this game forgot that there is a time limit. But obviously I'm still having the pressure on. So that's why he is not pushing as hard as he could be doing. But it's still a really close game. Like, otherwise I think he would push harder, though I still obviously do everything I can to try to stop him. Like, but these units maybe would have pushed early on this. I was a bit surprised by how little he pushed. Like, I was trying to find a point where I can just slam an attack of his with bombers and so on, but he never pushed in the center too much at this stage. So I was a bit surprised by that. Turns out he didn't realize about the 50-minute time limit. So, yeah, Ruggieri's getting my AAPs here was quite annoying. Superiority rocks versus Ruggieri's. Meanwhile, another Ju-88 coming in, together with another Ju-87D3, trying to get my T-34. T-34 is trying to dodge, and is able to dodge. That's the Ju-87D3. Is a bit low on hit points now. IRs coming around as well. IL-2s trying to hunt down the Ju-88. Trying to get behind that. And find a line of sight to shoot at it. Not that easy when they came out of the spawn. Ju-87 goes down though. And my two 37mm from the middle trying to do their best. But the Ju-88 warps out of existence. Enemy AEPs in the center went down. Two Vickers in the south though. Still firing. This one down to 14 shells now. 1 minute fire. 9 minutes to go. Attack power on 13-11. Down in the south. T-34 now unstressed again. Can't move forward. Stuk still in the rear. T-34 here hitting the Calorizi. Meanwhile in the north though, the forest gets overrun. 37mm here in a bit of a pickle. Flag Grenadiers pushing in as well. 13-11 for attack power. Brigida trying to find a hit on my T-34 here. Two Stuks in the center, one Brigida. More artillery pieces in the rear as well. Ruggieri's coming in. The 132mm rocket launchers now used all the supply of the supply trucks. They are all empty. So these last couple of rockets they have in them are the last they can fire. And 8 minutes still to go. IL-2M now coming in down here just to pin down some infantry. Maybe deal 1 or 2 damage to them. As you can see, it deals a bit of damage, but not much. It's mostly there just to pin them down, to allow me to get the flag, because every second of a 12-12 is an amazing second of a 12-12 for me in the long run. We have 109 G6, G4 R6 coming in, another E7. Vickers here down to 13 shells. This one still at 29 though. HS-129 bomber trying to come in for the T-34. BA-10s coming in as armored support. HS-129 not gonna make it. 2-star veteran C. AA helping out big time. But big artillery guns now firing at me as well. Meanwhile in the north, a lot of infantry moving in. Ruggieri's filling back out there. Well, KLKM holding the center. Flag just so. Obviously something that attack power, if he would have known about the time limit, would have stopped. But it's still a super close game. And the artillery is landing around my 37mm. Obviously not something I enjoy. Meanwhile, flag over here is just ever so slightly on the edge. 1311 now going on. But only 7 minutes remaining. Back to a 12-12 it goes. T-34's sitting around the center. Yak 1's together with IL-2's trying to keep it at a 12-12 in the north as well. Get the pin down on the Rogioris. Allow my Strelkys and Strelky LKMs to come in here in time. Get it back. Another IL-2 trying to get a bombing run through. We have 109 coming around. IL-2's in trouble. As there's no AA in the north. Protect them. Rogioris going down though. 1311. Another IL-2 in trouble. VF-109 gets the shutdown. We'll fly through the center though, where my 237mm will try to welcome it. Stormovay, get a kill on the Rogiori. Getting another kill on the Stormovay. VF-109 going down. Keeping the enemy away from these flags. 12K LKM holding out here well as well. But 1311 only for my opponent. HS-129 got a bombing run through on my BA-10s, but not much more. Meanwhile in the north, more 12K LKMs coming in. 5 minutes to go. T-34 trying to come in as well, as there's no heavy tank around. Like no Stuk or so, no big anti-tank as well. Pushing in the center now to try to just keep the enemy at bay. Obviously without a time limit I would not have done a lot of the bombing runs I did. Like I would have played also a bit more carefully. Like I had the time limit in mind constantly from minute 23 onwards. My opponent didn't. Which influenced our playstats by quite a margin. Like if in the current state, obviously, if there wouldn't be a time limit, my opponent would win, but I also would have played differently. Like, I would have played way more carefully with my air, because I knew I would have been able to give away a lot of my points, and it would just be about grinding out the enemy completely. And just killing off the AA even more meticulously. I wouldn't have done bombing run on infantry, so I would have just tried to kill down the Vickers with bombing runs, for example. And just overwhelm the enemy with airplay. Ignore a bit the flags a bit more. Regida here now under fire. Everything here obviously going in for the 12-12. T-34 goes down. Flag goes down as well. This is just a push to hold the line for now. Meanwhile in the north, T-34 coming in. M42 from the rear. Firing at it. So trying to dodge that. Heavy Hork here. Engaging on my Stalky LKMs. T-34 comes around though. Doesn't get the kill. Maybe Hoich has to reload. And my PTRDs get the kill on it. T-34 helps out. 13-11 only. 4 minutes to go. Trying to get to a 12-12. Stuck over here. Gets side-shotted. Gets killed. This flag is the goal here. Trying to hold that. Katyushas now with their last shots. Trying to just help out with what they got. Meanwhile, also trying to get in onto this flag, but Glide Grenadier is still around. It's still a AB Hork in the rear. But more T-34s trying to come in, more MGs trying to come in. The rockets just trying to do what they can. Mortars could be a bit more efficient as well. T-34 goes down though before it can reach the flag. This one just holding out. Strelky LKM trying to help out there as well. But Ryori's getting close there with AT grenades. 13-11. Keeping my opponent off the 59 is the goal. So pinning down the infantry units over here helps out with that. Even maybe getting a couple of kills. Panzerschreck goes down. Strelky LKM trying to hold the flag. 59 still happens though. And a 59 is a fast enough tick for my opponent to beat me here. Strelky LKMs got beaten back by the Glide Grenadier and the AB Horch. So 59 is happening. So I need a flag back. 2.5 minutes to go. And it's one more erase with time. And the Glide Grenadiers hit my truck here. 14-10 it is. As I get the flag in the south back with my T-34. Stuk always stayed here. Obviously big mistake in that regard. Jolky LKM gets hit by the artillery. AU88 come out with a bombing run. 1410 it is. T34 doesn't fully get pinned down, so flag stays under my control. But 3 comes in. Strelky LKM over here. We'll try to move forward. Keep it from 1410. There's only 2 minutes remaining. And with a normal tick, that's not gonna change. But obviously, that might not stay that way. Strelky LKM moving forward. Can't allow to lose a single flag. But luckily, as I said, ATKPWR forgot about the time limit. Otherwise, I most likely would have lost this already by just getting pushed out down here. So now it's only 1 minute and 40 seconds, and for now I'm holding on, and I'm getting closer and closer to keeping it in my favor. At 1 minute to go, once more really close game. HS1 to 9 trying to come in for the run in the center. Yak 1B trying to come in. 1 minute to go. Just pinning down the Rijoris. Getting up to a 13-11 myself by just pushing it over the edge. Back to a 12-12. Just trying to hold with everything, but obviously, yeah, there is a bit of untapped resources here that ATKPWR could have used. A bit unfortunate that he forgot about the time limit. Game would for sure have looked different. And most likely would have gone out differently. As with 30 seconds remaining, and me just getting a couple more ticks before that, I was pretty comfortable that by now, even with a 59, I would have enough tickets. As we are now 20 minutes away from, 20 seconds away from the end. So, yeah, I will win this game. And we'll text him around, like, 5 seconds after time limit for the rescue, and he will be like, fuck. Because he forgot about it. We were wondering what was happening. Like, I was wondering, chat was wondering at this point why he didn't push me harder. That explained it. Which, yeah, makes it feel a bit like, leaves a bit of a bitter taste that it was won this way, but rules are rules. And yeah, 50 minutes are over. I still have more points, so it's a win for me in that regard. Win by the rules. And I mean, I did play my heart out, but I messed up the B face in the center. I think just rolling over my opponent with T-34s would have done the job. Like, just swarming with T-34s in the center. I tried to be maybe a bit too fancy, actually. And the granny cherries were just annoying as hell. The granny cherries really ruined my day. But in the end, it was still a victory, thanks to the time limit. And Yak 3s did their job. The just did their job. But it took me a bit too long. And I hope you enjoyed this game. My next opponent this week will be Onord. So I feel like my tie or winning series will be over. Chances are that's not gonna end well. But if you want to see that, check out the Twitch if you want to see it live. And otherwise, I will obviously post that next week. So stay tuned. And see you next time. Bye-bye.